Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to a different type of journal flip. I've been working on drawing faces lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with that, and I just thought I would show the final result of my faces journal that I completed, this one here. And I'm going to share with you some of the artists that I found here on YouTube. Some that I've been watching for a long time and others that I just found and have been really enjoying watching their channel. And I'm going to give them a shout out in a moment. And I wanted to also just thank all of the people that are out there in YouTube land, the wonderful artists that I watch, and so many that I have yet to find. But just thank you so much for your inspiration and for sharing so freely your talent with us. And people like me that are just starting out. And so, yeah, just wanted to show my appreciation and thank you very much for sharing yourselves. So the book that I use is a mixed media Strathmore visual journal, and it has a vellum finish. It is 5.5 inches by 8 inches. It has 34 sheets in it, and it's 90-pound weight paper. So this one here I just had extra in on my bookshelf, so I'm going to use that next and continue on my journey with faces. I have really been enjoying attempting to draw whimsical faces. In this book here, it has a few less pages than normal because I think I'd used it for doodling or something, so I took those out and just started using this one for the faces. Back in February, I found someone called Eleni S. here on YouTube, and she was doing the 29 Faces of February art challenge. And if you look online and you look up either mixed media faces or you look up 29 faces, or you look up faces, I guess, drawing faces, painted faces, you'll come up with a plethora of people that have done faces on their YouTube channel. Some of the ones, and I did a little list here, and I will put these out. Obviously, you're not going to be able to, type all this information in, so it'll all be in the description below, but I wanted to print out a list. These are just a few of the people that I have been watching that have inspired me over the last few months to work on faces. I've never really tried seriously to draw faces or really gotten into it. I have gotten James Davenport's book, and it's a little advanced for me because I'm just starting out. But one of these days I would love to take a class on doing whimsical faces and doing faces in general, but I just thought I would try it on my own by watching and being inspired by these lovely people on Facebook. So Eleni S. has a 29 Painted Faces Challenge playlist, and so you can go watch all of the, the 29 faces that she did. Kelly Donovan also has a 29 Faces playlist on her YouTube channel. Also, all of these people that I'm mentioning are all mixed media artists, and so they do a lot of things on their channels. So please go check out their channels and all the rest of the wonderful things that they do. The links that I'm going to leave are basically for playlists for faces specifically. So back to this, Be Creative 2 has a mixed media faces playlist as well. Cindy Utter has a 55 faces playlist. There is a channel called Petra's Art, and she does art journal pages. It's a girls playlist. And then of course Gina Ahrens, she doesn't have a playlist for just faces specifically. She does so many different types of art, just like the rest of the women here do. Wonderful artists. And but if you go on her site, if you click on her link, you can just type in the search bar faces, and it'll come up with a bunch of different videos, separate videos that where she is either painting girls or drawing girls. I do believe she also has a class that's available. So these are a few of the people that have inspired me of late to begin drawing faces, and I've had so much fun doing it. It's very relaxing, and I've learned a lot. So check these people out, and we'll just get started. So back in February, when I first started watching these videos, I was watching Elaine S., and so this was inspired by what I had seen on one of her painted faces. Now, this book, I believe I only have one painted face in here. All the rest are done with either just a mechanical pencil or they are done with, what are they called? Prismacolor colored pencils. So like I said, I only have one painted face and I'm not really that great at it. So I just need to practice more. So this was my first girl that I did in this book. And this is just mechanical pencil, and I was trying to work on my shading. I really have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. So that's all that matters. The shading, I think I just used my finger to shade it. So there she is. And I don't name my girls either. Some people name them, and I think it's so cute. I think other girls that I've tried before in other journals that I have named them, but none of these are named. They're nameless. This one here, the poor thing, she said this is more like a self-portrait probably on this particular day. I was probably in bed, not feeling well, having a chronic illness day. So, yeah, that's how she turned out. Poor thing. She's a little frazzled. This one here, again, same thing, just mechanical pencil and shading with probably my finger. So, yeah, just practicing, just practicing lips and shading and eyes and things like that. So there's that. And then this one here, this is when I started using color. Just a few of them I've used color on, and I use colored pencils for these. Again, trying to shade, have no idea what I'm doing. But the videos that I watch are so totally helpful. So make sure you check those out for inspiration. Here's a girl, again, just playing around with shading, playing around with different types of lips and chins and different placement of, their features and things like that. So that was fun. Again, Prismacolor color pencils. Here's one. She's so pretty. I think she reminds me of my daughter because she has a little dimple. And so I did her as well with Prismacolor pencils. And again, just trying to work on shading and all of that. Now, this one here, I started doing something that I'm sure, is a technique, but I decided that I wanted to start trying to do realistic faces, not to draw the realistic faces, but to practice my shading. And so the best way that I found that I could do that is by photocopying a black and white photo. And I'll tell you the short version of how I did that. But this was the first time I tried something called the charcoal transfer technique. And I had never seen it before. I haven't seen the charcoal transfer technique, but I was sitting one day in my art room and, when I was trying to do this lovely lady, and I thought, how can I work on my shading? And because I don't draw faces, it's obviously that is such a talent to be able to sit and look at a picture and draw directly from the picture, or look at a real person, a live, person, and draw. And so, yeah, that's way beyond what I can do at this point. So what I started doing was like this here. I would find like a photo on Pinterest, and they were always black and white photos. And if they were in color, I would make them black and white. on my computer, so that it was easier for me to see the different tones of the shades, because it's a lot easier for me personally to see the difference between black and white and gray than it is to see the difference in colors. And again, I'm just starting out, and so I just wanted to practice and, do as much as I could. So what I did was I found a picture like this on Pinterest, and I copied it and pasted it into my word processor and printed it out. Then I went back to the photo that was in my word processor, and I took it and I reversed it. And then I printed a copy of that out. Now, with the reversed picture, what I did was I took a charcoal pencil and I went around just the edges of the basic shape of her hairline, her jawline, her lips, her nose, her eyes, her eyebrows, where some of these little pieces of hair are. And yeah, so I just went over just basic shapes of her face. And then I took that charcoal transfer paper and I put it on this page upside down, and I rubbed it out. And when I took the paper off, I could see a very faint line of where all of the, her general features are placed. Then after that, I used my Prismacolor pencils in cool gray tones and in black. So I used the 20% cool gray, the 50% cool gray, and the 70% cool gray, as well as the black. And I just used this photo then as reference. So wherever I saw dark, I tried to shade dark. Wherever I saw light, I tried to leave it light. So that's hopefully is a short explanation of how I did the next few pages. And again, these were all just to practice my shading, and I felt that it worked better just using black and white photos as reference. So here's another one that I found on Pinterest, and then I just, transfer the shading over to here. I did use the charcoal transfer, but again, I just transfer the basic outlines. I don't do any of the shading in charcoal. So that's what I do on my own by using this photo as a reference. And then I did this one here. Again, it's just so much easier for me to use black and white photos and see the difference between the different tones. And then this is my lovely daughter, and poor thing, I did not do her justice in this photo. Sorry, baby girl. This one here I did same type of thing, and then when I was finished with her face and the shading on her face as well as I could do it, I decided not even to try to do the hair. I kind of liked her with just the white kind of, cream background. So there was the practice for that. And then here's this one here, still practicing with black and white and the charcoal transfer. And I do have a video, I'll link that below as well. I have a video where I actually show the process of how I do the charcoal transfer, if you're interested in that. Let's see. Now, this one here was interesting because I did kind of do almost like a color by numbers using my charcoal pencil, because there was so much contrast on this reference photo. And so when I did do the charcoal outlining, I actually charcoaled a lot more. And then before I flipped it over, I drew in like letters, almost like a color by number, but it was a color by letters. So like up here, I would draw a light line of charcoal and draw a line here, and then draw a line here. Anywhere where there was like a lot of shading around, I would draw little lines. And then when I flipped it over, before I did the transfer, I wrote in, oh no, I'm sorry. Then I went ahead and transferred it to this page. And then when I lifted it up, I had all these little lines all over the place. And so I could go in there and write, like, it was dark here, I'd write a D here, dark here, I'd write a D here. Wherever it was a little bit lighter, I would, write medium. And so, yeah, this one, I have to admit that I did almost like a color by number type of thing using the charcoal transfer. And poor Audrey. I don't know what happened here. I really don't. She needs to shave, obviously. Poor thing. Poor thing. I don't know. That's just not right. There's just something not right about that. We'll just move on. This one here is the only one that I attempted to paint. Flesh tones are very difficult. I used a lot of different media on here. I used, what are those markers called? Oh, for heaven's sakes. They're in the flesh tone, and they're double-sided. I didn't bring them in here. They're double-sided. I cannot remember the name of them. But I used acrylic paint. Her face and everything is acrylic paint. I did use, for her eyes and lips, I used Inktense pencils. Those are water-soluble ink pencils. What else? I use Posca markers on here. I really wish I could tell you the name of these markers that I used to attempt to do shading, but I can't think of what they are called. I can't think of it. I'm so sorry. Anyhow, that's how she turned out. So, I'm not really fond of the painting, I must say. Now, obviously I need a lot of practice. Clearly, that's evident. But yeah, I wasn't really fond of it. I don't know. I'm like an instant gratification kind of person, so which when you're practicing art, I mean, there's really nothing instant about it. So anyhow, here's one that I just haven't even finished, and I don't know if I ever will. I'm not really sure I like the way she came out. Then now starting with these and the next few after, I actually finally purchased some blending stumps. Where have these been all my life? I absolutely love using these. And I simply, to do these more, whimsical girls, I simply use a mechanical pencil. I use blending stumps, either fat or thin. And I use an eraser to erase and make some, shadowing. Well, I'm not making shadowing, I guess. I'm taking away shadowing so that you could see the other shadowing, if that makes any sense at all. So I did her, and I like the way these came out, the next few that I did. And like I said, I don't know where these have been all my life or why I have never tried them, but I absolutely love them. I had so much fun doing these girls. So there's another one that I did. Still, again, practicing my shading. And I really like doing like these types of chins because it makes it look like they have a dimple. I have a thing for dimples. I don't have a dimple, but my husband and my 2 children both have dimples in their chins. So I don't know. I just like the way that those came out. Why she's upside down, I don't know. Just the way I turned the book. So there's another cutie with a little short haircut and cute little lips. And again with the shading and using the blending stump. And then this one I did. I just, she has her little dimple again, but I also attempted to do a different style of lip here. So I like the way she came out. And again, with the blending stump, really enjoying that. And then this one I did the other day, and I did it with Prismacolor pencils, all of it. So I'm still trying to work on, obviously, shading. That's what I'm trying to do. And working on, like, the reflections in their eyes and the reflections on their lips, which I need desperate help with, but practice, practice, practice. So, and these little flowers here are just cutouts from a calendar that I had. So I did that one. And then this is one that I did yesterday. Not really crazy about her, but it is what it is, So again, with the reflections, trying to work on the reflections in their eyes and in their mouth, and Still working on their shading. Here I used a little bit more than just flesh tones. I was using purples and blues to kind of, and pinks for her cheeks to kind of get the shading in. And that's it. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And oh, looking at that poor thing and seeing my progress. I enjoy looking through here and seeing how I progressed. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun doing these. So make sure you check out the links below of all the lovely ladies that have mixed media channels here on YouTube, and they're just wonderful artists and wonderful inspirations to me. And yeah, I thank you so much for watching. This is a different kind of video for me to share with you, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And I will catch you next time. It'll probably be on a Faux Bonichi flip.